Hey everyone, today we're going to be diving into the Spinnin Records Big Room Sample Pack and see what kind of tools and samples it has to get your big room tracks to the next level. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of demo tracks I've made using only sounds from the pack, and after that we'll just dive a little bit deeper to see what other tools the pack has to offer. Here's what the first demo track sounds like I made using only sounds from the pack, and then we can kind of mess with it a little bit and show you how easy it is to interchange these samples with these big room sounds. One of the best parts about the pack is that the tonal kicks come in every different key of the scale. So instead of losing quality by shifting the pitch of the sample yourself, you already have every single note to choose from. So the key of this demo track is E minor, but let's say we wanted to make it in D minor. So instead of just changing the pitch of the sample, we can actually go into the pack and use the D labeled sample. So we'll go to tonal kick 1 and we'll go to D, and now we can drag this into our project and we can bring it up to where we had the original tonal kick, and I'll just loop this and then move the MIDI of all the notes down 2 steps, so then the whole song will be in the key of D now instead of E. So let's see how that sounds. So it's really that simple to change the entire key of your track to get the feeling right. Because if you just change the sample, like if I just took this sample and changed the pitch manually right here, it starts to sound really bad when you just change it manually. So now that it's been done for you in the sound design process, you don't have to worry about it anymore. This pack also makes it really easy to interchange the 4 on the floor drop claps that you hear in a lot of big room tracks. So let's get some examples of that by interchanging some claps. So I can just duplicate this drop clap track I have and start testing out random drop claps. So I'm just going to drag a couple in and see how they sound. So these clap loops are all at 128 BPM, but the track is at 130 BPM. So I'm just going to get them all in time with the track by hitting Command-Option-B. Now they're all in time with the track, I can just loop them and test them out. I kind of like how powerful this one sounds right here. I think I prefer it to the original one we had, so I'm going to keep that. Now I can delete all these old ones, and the claps in my drop are now good to go. There's nothing else I have to do for them. So let's check out another demo track I made using sounds from this pack. So this pack doesn't only come with drum samples, it also comes with some presets as well. So all these presets you're hearing are available to download in the pack. What makes big room tracks unique is the amount of energy they have during the drops. And the way to get this energy is to use multiple synth layers that take up the entire frequency spectrum and the entire stereo spectrum. So I'll show you what I mean by showing you each of these layers. This formant lead here is providing a buzzing sound to help the lead cut through the mix. To get this buzz sound, you don't need any detune at all. That's why in the synth, it's just one voice of unison as a saw wave. There are effects on there that give the sound more of its character, but the important part is that it's just one voice of unison and it's not a wide sound. But if you just had that lead sound playing, it wouldn't sound very big. That's why we need this big saw lead. The big saw lead is a very detuned sound as opposed to the first lead I showed you. So you can see how wide it is by looking in Serum here. Both of these oscillators have 16 voices of unison and are heavily detuned. And this is just to really fill out the stereo spectrum and add a lot of that detuned energy that we're looking for. These two layers sound great together, but we could still make these leads sound a little bit more full, and that's where this high lead layer comes in. It's going to be an octave above the other layers and just put the whole lead in a certain space that the other layers can't do. And to put it in that space that I'm looking for, I'm putting reverb onto the track at a very high mix level, around 50%, just to put the sound in a certain space. I'll bypass the reverb and put it back on so you can see how big of a difference it makes. And when I add that sound on to the first two leads, it makes a very full sound. To add some more variation to the lead melody, I added one more lead layer that just plays the first few notes of each bar to really emphasize those notes in the melody. That just added the last little bit of energy I was looking for to emphasize those certain notes. It's important not to overdo it when it comes to layering lead sounds. Another trick you can use is to loop your lead and keep muting and unmuting a certain track, and if you notice a big difference every time you mute and unmute the track, then you probably need that lead layer in there to keep the energy. But if you don't notice a big difference at all when you're muting and unmuting that track, it's probably an extra lead layer that you don't need. For example, I'll mute and unmute the first lead layer. That lead is obviously making a huge difference in the overall sound, so I definitely want to keep that. I'll do it again with the second layer. So much of the energy of the lead is coming from this layer as well, so I definitely want to keep that. So you can go through all your lead layers like that and check them that way, and if there's anything that is really not making a big difference, then chances are you can probably delete it to free up space in your mix. Let's just browse through some of the different types of samples that are in here that are available to use. Another good thing about this pack is the synth shots it comes with. So if you feel like your drop is kind of missing something, it's always a good idea to throw some kind of synth shot in there to keep things more interesting. You can get some song ideas down really fast with this pack just using the different loops that come with it. So I'll go in the top loops here. I'll drag that top loop in. I'll make it repeat for 8 bars. Now I'm going to want to add a kick in there. So I'll go to my tonal kicks down here. Let's see how this one sounds. I'm going to loop this kick for 8 bars. And there, in just 2 drags, you already have a starting point for a new song. Some other things you'll find in the pack are some rides, some toms, which are really good for making fills out of. There's some transition and impacts. Which are really good just for transitioning from one section to another. And then there are obviously a bunch of effects like uplifters and downlifters. So anyway, I hope you guys can take the tools in this pack and use them in your own songs to make them sound great. So happy creating, best of luck with your music, and have a great day.